Welcome, everybody, to the Shipwreck podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Ship. Welcome once again. We were supposed to have last week off, but we had an emergency pod because your boy P Diddy had his verdict read, and needless to say, I was surprised. But you know, that's life. But today's pod, we this is a welfare check. It's a health check. It's a checkup. We're gonna talk about the first 6 months of the President Trump's reign on power. Yeah, that's hard to say. It's hard to swallow and even say that, but it is what it is. And we are halfway through the first quarter. Let me say that again. We are halfway through the first quarter of the Trump presidency. And I just wanted to do a check to see how everybody feel about it so far. As always, if you're watching on Facebook, please go to the YouTube. I would rather you be on there. If you're on the YouTube, please hit the like button real quick. Boop. Hit the subscribe button. Boop. Leave a comment, obviously. We're trying to get this thing bigger and better. And thank y'all again for joining. But again, like I just said, we are one halfway through the first quarter. And unless you're a world champion Eagles fan, you know, you may be in trouble already, because I think the country's in trouble. That's my personal opinion about it. If you would like to join the pod, feel free. I put the link into the chat already to join. Hopefully you got it. I think that's it. But anyway, here we are. So we are again halfway through the first quarter. And again, as always with the Shipwreck pod, I like to do some education, show some videos, show where we're at, show the progress of what this man has done so far. Because unlike what he liked to say on the campaign trail of him not knowing anything about Project 2025, that's basically what his administration is doing in a lot of parts. I would say not just a lot, in every aspect of his administration is some Project 2025 to it. Whether it's the deportations, whether it's the amassing power, whether it's what he's doing to the education department, dismantling it from student loans and stuff like that. We're going to get into all of that here in a second, but it's really, it's not shocking. It's not, because he said he was going to do this. If you like to join the pod, please come on in. But it is really remarkable at the rate that has been done so far. Again, we are halfway through the first quarter. So for us football fans, that is 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. And we are in trouble. We are already down. And I don't like what the Democrats are doing to fight. They aren't fighting enough. I think we may win the House back just simply off of how bad he has been and historical trends. But with that being said, the first thing I wanted to talk about is exactly for people, because some people may not know what Project 2025 is. And so I wanted to share that first, to give everybody a rundown what Project 2025 is, and actually give you a tracker to show you where we are now with Project 2025, and then go into somebody said there's no link. Hold on, I'm gonna put it in there now. And then go into as well some regrets. Some of the people that have voted for Trump and had some regrets. So with that being said, we're gonna watch the first video on what Project 2025 is, and then we're gonna go from there. Hopefully we'll have some guests that come on that feel that Trump is doing what he's supposed to be doing. And so hopefully we'll see if that happens or not. But here we go. We're gonna start talking about Project 2025 first.
President Trump started his new term with a barrage of executive orders, a record 92 in his first 2 months alone. and a majority mirror ideas in Project 2025. That's the 922-page radical conservative blueprint that Trump repeatedly distanced himself from on the campaign trail.
I have nothing to do with Project 2025.
I've never read it, and I never will.
I've said 100 times, I know nothing about it.
But now,
a number of the policies that he's pushing out at breakneck speed are almost identical to what Project 2025 wanted to impose.
here are some of the notable ways Trump's first few months are aligning with Project 2025 and what that can tell us about his second term.
One of the biggest themes in the Project 2025 document was dismantling the federal bureaucracy, essentially attacking the administrative state.
In fact, it's one of the big promises made throughout the playbook. The next conservative administration should be prepared to dismantle the administrative state.
But at the same time, this is something that Republicans for decades have said they wanted to do. They argue the government's too big, too sprawling, involved in too many things, it's wasting too much taxpayer money.
Trump has wasted no time reducing the size of the government and changing how it's staffed. Of his more than 90 executive orders since taking office, more than a quarter are focused on addressing the power of the federal government and the makeup of its workforce. And most of those have similarities to ideas in Project 2025, which was created by the conservative think tank Heritage Foundation.
Even though Trump tried to distance himself from Project 2025 during the campaign, he spent a lot of time talking about the quote-unquote deep state and railing against government bureaucracy.
In his Agenda 47, which outlined his campaign platform, Trump promised to stop woke and weaponized government and to
dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all.
But Project 2025's roadmap also included specific actions to help the president remake the federal bureaucracy. It recommended reinstating the Schedule F classification, making it easier to fire policy-making employees, which Trump did on his first day back in the Oval Office. And Project 2025 advocated for ending the independent status of certain agencies like the FTC or SEC. In February, Trump signed an executive order that asserted authority over those agencies. One of Trump's Day One executive orders renamed the United States Digital Service to the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk.
Project 2025 did not call for the creation of a specific Department of Government Efficiency, but there's a lot of overlap in what DOGE does and what Project 2025 wanted to do.
In other executive orders, Trump empowered DOGE to help reduce the size of the federal workforce by approving hiring, consulting on new agency regulations, and scrutinizing agency payments. That echoes Project 2025, which called for eliminating functions and programs that are duplicated, handcuffing the bureaucracy, and restoring fiscal limits.
In some cases, DOGE has gone much further than what Project 2025 actually envisioned. For example, the entire dismantlement of USAID.
At times, Trump has also gone further than the playbook on immigration, though many of his ideas have aligned.
We're going to have the largest deportation operation in the history of our country.
There were numerous proposals in Project 2025 that President Trump could have pulled from if he wanted to, that would help him with the big deportation effort and other immigration restrictions. But really, anyone who's heard President Trump speak knows that immigration is a huge priority for him.
Trump has signed 8 executive orders related to immigration, and many of them echo recommendations in Project 2025, like sending troops to the southern border and declaring a national emergency, and putting sanctions on countries that refuse to take back deportees.
However, he's gone much further in some areas. For example, one of the first things he did was sign an executive order that would ban birthright citizenship.
While Trump promised to get rid of it during his campaign, Project 2025 didn't outright call for ending birthright citizenship, which most legal scholars agree is clear in the Constitution. But Project 2025 did call for making the government hard targets for woke culture warriors. The word woke appears over dozens of times, and it's a favorite of Trump's too.
Considering how woke your party has become, Joe Biden's woke policies, there will be no wokeness. We're not going to be woke.
He argued there were too many federal agencies who were adopting these DEI policies that he say were making the government less efficient and making the government less fair.
About 10% of Trump's executive orders focused on wiping out DEI initiatives in the government, schools, and even the private sector. All of those orders mirrored proposals from Project 2025, like terminating federal DEI programs, recognizing only male and female sexes, and emphasizing recruiting federal workers only on merit, not race, sex, or religion.
One of the reasons that President Trump and the authors of Project 2025 are so focused on getting what they call the wokeness out of government, is they believe this is a big liberal agenda item.
DEI would have ruined our country, and now it's dead.
And so they think by pulling this out and by stopping this, they'll get the federal government back, into their camp, and it'll make it harder for these agencies to resist what President Trump wants to do with his agenda.
That agenda overlapped with Project 2025 even before Trump took office in January.
So his supporters are saying, well, this is what he campaigned on. These ideas are his ideas and the things that he said he would execute.
In a statement, the White House said Americans would be better served learning about how Trump has swiftly delivered on key campaign promises in his first few months. And the Heritage Foundation said that Trump's current actions aren't about its recommendations in Project 2025, and that he and his team deserve the credit.
Democrats, however, are saying, wait a second, there's too much overlap. This is exactly what we told you was going to happen.
Especially since Trump hired multiple key architects and contributors of Project 2025 to be in his administration. Some of them had even served in his first one.
Plain and simple, this is Project 2025. Project 2025 by another name.
And the project's former director agrees. Paul Dance, who was ousted from the Heritage Foundation during the 2024 campaign, told Politico that Trump's current agenda is beyond his wildest dreams. Still, there are parts of the conservative blueprint that Trump has stopped slightly short of embracing, like national restrictions on abortion.
One thing that the overlap of some of Trump's proposals with Project 2025 should tell us going into the next parts of his administration is that there really are no ideas that he might deem to be too controversial or too conservative. He's doing so much so fast that it's hard for his critics to push back, and he sees that it can actually be quite effective to kind of go for it, especially in the first 100 days of his administration.
All right, y'all. So that was a quick rundown on what Project 2025 is. And I wanted to do a quick synopsis on what it is. So, all right, so this is right here what Project 2025 is. Hold on one second. This is a tracker. I put it into the show notes already, into the comments if you wanted to look at it for yourself. And I just picked a few. This actually has it for every agency. This is a very informative website. And I just picked a couple agencies: Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, VA, and Department of Justice. But they have it for every agency. And it shows you, it gives you actually a progress of how far they've gone so far in Project 2025. There are some agencies like USAID is 100% complete, which is to completely shut it down and it's gone. That happened under Doge. So let's just talk about the Department of Education here for a second. So you have one thing that they completed already is eliminating of plus loan programs. I talked about that already. It makes it much harder for low income people to be able to go to school. It's really a travesty in and of itself. No matter how smart you are, you may not have enough money to achieve the things that you could achieve in life. Another thing is rollback student loan forgiveness and income driven repayment programs. Again, all of these things right here, those two things right there in education makes it much harder for us. I mean, us as the community, us as the people. This isn't race based. This is more income based to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve in life. HHS. They withdrew from the Biden era guidance that strengthens HIPAA protections for reproductive health care. So now people can get to your health records a lot easier. They rescinded, so this is already completed. They rescinded guidance that requires hospitals perform an abortion to save a woman's life. Think about that for a minute. Think about what I just said. They have rescinded the right for to save a woman's life.
President Trump started his new term with a barrage of executive orders.
So it makes it much harder to save a woman's life now. When it comes to an abortion. Let me see here. They rescinded AG Garland's policy that limited the department's ability to subpoena journalists during leaks, cases involving Title IX or Title VI. Let me see here some other good ones. rescinded Biden's era Title IX rules that strengthen the ability to prosecute sexual assault and discrimination cases. So these are just some of, like I said, it's 59 more, and it just goes, just goes on and on. A lot of different things that's in this title. So with that being said, we have some guests that want to come on, and I wanted to let them come on real quick and talk. Um, uh, the first one, Miss Diva, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I hear you loud and
Oh,
clear. I hear you
okay.
loud and clear.
Cool, cool.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the couch.
Thank
Welcome back
you.
to the couch,
Thank you.
mate. And how do you feel about the first 6 months so far in this administration?
I don't know if my blood pressure can take another 6 months.
You're not through the first quarter yet. You're
I
halfway
know.
through the first quarter.
I know. And I need to go to the bench and take a breather.
You need a break.
I need a break, but there's no breaks in sight because he's out there like every single day. And,
Mm-hmm.
I notice, because he always uses trigger words, that incite his cult,
Base.
because
Yeah.
I call them
Yeah.
a cult. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
base anymore. It's a cult. Like woke and DEI and what was the other one that he said? Well, like DEI, if you ask, and I have asked, his supporters, what is DEI? They can't tell you. They can't explain what
Yeah.
DEI is, and they use the initials because they don't have to explain what DEI means, that it means diversity, equity, and
Mm-hmm.
inclusion. Because if you tell them that, then they have to explain why they're against diversity, why they're
Mm-hmm.
against equity, which means equal, why they're against inclusion.
Yeah.
And they can't answer that. So
Yeah.
it makes them feel comfortable to use uh, the initials DEI
Mm-hmm.
because it lets them off the hook.
The DEI is, to me, is no different than woke. It's they're all no different than CRT.
Right,
It
right.
really is just another way. It's no different to me, and I'm gonna say it's no different than back to blue. They're
Right,
all coded words
right.
to
To
keep
incite the
a
cult.
hierarchy. Yeah, to keep the hierarchy in charge. Shut
And
up and stay in your place.
yeah, basically, yeah, yeah. They want to keep us in our place, but we're not staying there.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. And that brings me to my next. I have to bring this up because you said Democrats aren't fighting, and I keep hearing that Democrats aren't fighting,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what Democrats can do when voters have tied their hands behind their back. We don't have the House, we don't have the
Mm-hmm.
Senate, we don't have the Supreme Court, we don't have the White House. What else can we do? You're
We can.
basically sending Democrats out there to fight with a butter knife
This is
against guns.
this is what I expect them to do, and this is what I demand of them to do, is to get out there and educate and teach the people what's going on in this country. And what I mean by that is they should have been plastering the world with how bad this bill is. You have, if you went on Fox News, and if you go on there now, there's commercials on there celebrating and thanking Trump for
Yeah,
passing the bill, getting the bill
I've
passed.
I've
Why?
seen them
So why?
celebrating.
So why didn't the Democrats take the money that they constantly begging me for and put some ads up there telling the showing those same exact people what is exactly in the bill and how it will affect them? So you don't need power to do that. You don't need the Senate. You don't
You
need the
do
House.
need money.
They got money. They got
Yeah.
money. They raise more money than Republicans. Democrats, even in the past election, they raised more money than Republicans. So the money is there. So this is about the will and actually to get out there. Like I said, I understand how power works. I understand that they don't have the power to do those things, but they're not. They're not doing the things that they can do, which is to get out there, educate, teach people, get them to understand, so that way when these programs actually go into effect, which more than likely will Angerson more than like they do go into effect on the next Congress, when I would say more than likely the Democrats will probably have the next Congress, they can they're going to be the ones that's blamed because they're say, well, hold on, how, what, huh? Because all of the good things are happening now. The no tax on tips, which is
But that's a lie. There is tax on tips.
I,
The whole no tax on tips
yeah,
was a smokescreen. It has expirations. It
it does.
has
It
limits.
does. And I've said all of those
So
things. Yes, that has limits. They limit in 2028.
right,
They're limited to 12.5 for a single, 25,000 for
right. So
couple.
if you
Same
make
thing with
more than a
overtime. If you
if you
make
make
more than
more than a certain amount,
150,000, yeah, you don't get it.
you
It
still pay
phases out.
tax on tips.
I understand it. And it's not even on the whole entire amount of your overtime for that day. It's on a premium of that overtime. So for instance, what that means is, let's say that your normally dollar per hour is $20 an hour. When you work in overtime, you get $30 per hour. No tax is only on the other
On the
$10.
other $10.
On the other
Right,
$10.
right.
So yeah, I look here. I understand. We can talk about that all day. Again, why aren't Democrats going on the air and having those conversations with the people? They
But
are
who's
not.
going to put them on the air? The
No,
problem is there
again,
is no such thing
again,
as a mainstream media. The
again.
media is owned by billionaires.
I
So
agree.
they're not putting Democrats on to say. I watch some of the Sunday shows, and the questions, they ask Republicans softball questions. They ask Democrats tough
You
questions.
you still didn't answer. You didn't answer. You avoided what I said that they could do, which is
Well,
spend
they
money
can. They can
and go.
spend more
Okay,
money.
so they
Yeah.
could have did
Okay.
that.
I agree with that. They can
So
spend more money.
another thing they can do, which is free, is go on these podcasts. Go on the Joe Rogan show. Go on like put Pete Buttigieg
But who?
blast it out. But
Right.
who do you mean who should do it?
But no, what Democrats do you know have seen him on Seth Rogen or I mean Joe Rogan or
This
any of
this
those
is more
podcasts?
again. This is more than just talking to your base. You need to talk to the American people. You need to
But
get
you
the
can't
people
you
on.
can't get through that base. You can't get through the
That's
cult.
not true. That's not true because
I
what I
I
mean by that
disagree
is
with that.
what I mean by that is yes, I believe that 1/3 of this country is completely lost. They're Trumpers, they're MAGA, they're not coming back, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
I agree. I 100% agree. But there is 2/3 of this country, and half of them, I would say 1/3 or almost 1/3. I can't. I'm not bad at fractions, so I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna try. There's a portion of the people that voted for Trump that just don't know that are ignorant to those facts. You got to get out there and try that are persuadable. I'm gonna just say it like that. They are persuadable, and the Democrats are not doing enough to persuade. That's what I'm talking about. They
Oh,
are not doing enough to teach and persuade. That's what I'm
well,
talking about with that.
they can't even persuade their own.
So what you're doing right now is making excuses instead of
Well,
saying,
I said they could spend more money.
yeah,
They could I don't know, uh, publish crap in publications or start their own pod. Well, some of them do have
some of them do
podcasts.
have pods, and
Yeah,
those people that have those
but
pods,
who's
you
watching them?
already got again. A lot of people watch them, but you already have the people that's watching them. You already have.
Already have exactly.
You need to be able to
So
go
how do
to
you reach the unreachable?
again. You have to try. You have to go to the unreachable by going to where they are. And again, I'm not talking about the 1/3 that's going. I'm talking about the people. Again, there's no reason whatsoever. You can't say that everybody that watch Fox News is unreachable. You can't say
Yeah, I
that
can.
because
I can.
you can't. No, you can't because Fox News is
Because one, if you're watching Fox
on at
News,
the gym. Fox
if
News.
you're
I mean,
watching
like
exactly, and the establishments who put it on, they put it on for a reason. They used to have it on the TVs where I worked when I worked at
mhm,
USAA until people started complaining about it, and then
mhm.
they switched up. So Fox News is on those TVs in those places for a reason
You
because
just
they
made my
know that
point.
they can reach those people.
You just made my point. You know that, right? You just made my point.
What was your point? Because
My point is exactly what you just said. You have people, you have those commercials on, you have people going there and going those programs because not everybody that watch Fox News are not persuadable.
Right, they're not. If you're watching Fox News and you're watching a network that you know has lied to you, but you don't
You,
believe they've
you
lied to
still not
you, but they've paid and they had to pay almost $1 billion because they lied to you, and you still watch them and you still rely on them and you still look to them for truth, then no, you're not reachable.
ma'am. Let's listen. Let's go back to just what you just said. It was playing at your job. It was playing at your job.
Right.
You
But my
are
job
not,
is
hold
not
on.
full of Republicans.
That's my again. All you're doing is making my point.
No, but
No,
the
you
people
are.
who
Listen to what I'm saying. Fox News is on so many different places
right,
that are
exactly.
not strictly Republicans and strictly people who are not persuadable. You are making my point for me. Actually,
No,
you're
the
making my
people who did not want to listen to Fox News didn't have to be persuaded. We just didn't want to watch Fox News and watch them lie.
Kid, I'm
So those
talking
people
about
aren't the ones that had to be persuaded.
you're still not listening. I want you to take break
Okay,
down
maybe I'm not
your
getting
barrier.
it.
Yes, please break down
Yeah.
your barrier and just listen for a second. I'm saying that the Democratic Party and the people that are left leaning, central to left, or people that have a different message than what is on Fox News can go on Fox News. They can be there whether they go in there and do an interview or whether they pay for advertisement. And because there are more people that watch that are in front of Fox News than people who are the people that are just like 100% of people that watch Fox News are not MAGA, are not Republicans. Like I said, it's on at the gym, it was on at your job, it's on at the bank, it's on at so many different places that other people
Mhm.
that are not MAGA are not MAGA or not Republicans will see
Bobby,
it. Yes, ma'am. I hear
Bobby,
you.
Bobby, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Hey, I've been listening for a minute, but we all know that
oh,
they use
mine
information
froze
to
up.
persuade to
We hear you. We hear
persuade
you,
people.
Auntie. We hear you.
Can she get? She's good.
I think so. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, but everybody knows that information is used to persuade people. I don't care what kind of it could be good, bad, ugly, or whatever. Uh, direct, indirect. That people use information or news to direct people. And you're right. The Fox is everywhere. But if I watch Fox in Detroit and I watch Fox in say some place that's rural Alabama, it's
Mhm,
not the same Fox. You feel what I mean? So
mhm.
when they go to these candidates go or whoever go on these networks, they are trying to get to the other people, but the networks aren't gonna.
Hold on.
They're not gonna put that stuff out there
You-
like that.
you're talking about
So
the syndicated shows. You're talking about the local
so
syndicated Fox versus. I'm talking about Fox News. I'm talking about
yeah,
the cable company.
yeah, 100%.
Now,
But
now,
you got to remember, yeah, I'll get to a point, right? But you still
mhm,
got to remember that still a large amount of people in the United States, like what I mean, almost 15% don't have internet. You
mhm.
understand? And it's usually in those places where those candidates try to get into, right?
I'm not talking about and I'm talking about strictly just going on. I'm strictly advertising with the national network. And don't get me wrong, I
Right,
understand that the national. I mean that they give time to the local stations and stuff like that,
right,
local within your area and all that. I'm talking about if you say this advertisement is for the national network, it's going to
yeah,
be nationwide because you paid for that. Same thing if you have an interview on Fox News, the national network, that will
yeah,
be played because it's played everywhere. Now, the
right.
syndication, I agree with you. That's you may see your news is different from this news and
So,
stuff like that, but I'm not
all right,
talking about that. So
here's my point on right here, real
go ahead.
quick. During the election, how many do you think it was even between Kamala Harris coverage on Fox News, or was it heavy on Trump's?
Absolutely, it was all weighted
It
toward
was
making
all
I'm
Trump.
talking about I'm talking about the big network. I ain't talking about the syndicated. I'm
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
what you
No,
talking about.
we talking
So
about
that's
yes, it was
yeah. So
absolutely in the bag for Trump. Absolutely. I
right,
mean,
right, right. So
they paid almost
that's
$1
what they
billion. Yes,
right.
absolutely.
So those candidates that we try to go to say they want to go on Fox, right? You
Hmm.
think they're gonna get? You don't think Jasmine try to get on Fox and be like, hey, let me go in here and let y'all know what's popping? You think they're gonna give her some time? Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll give you some time about it after elections. You know what I'm
Again,
saying?
again, it's more ways to do it than just pay for advert. I'm talking about pay for advertisement on Fox, pay for advertisement on OAN, pay for
Yeah,
advertisement on One American News Network, and then take your talents to Joe Rogan will have you. Rogan wanted Kamala to come on there. Like there are other podcasters that are big. Go on Megan Kelly. Take the fight to them and show them why they're wrong. And don't get me wrong, it's you're gonna fight out with a battle, but that's what we're here for. That's
right,
the
right.
fight that we're talking about.
But
and
right,
that fight can be had without any without any power.
no, I hear you. I'm with you 100%. But if you trying to come to my show and I ain't letting you come to my show, I don't care who you are. You
I
feel what I mean?
understand that.
So they have been trying to get on. She talked about it. They have been trying to get on those networks. They ain't not gonna allow them to come on those networks, no matter what they say or do. You know what I mean? Give them all the money in the world. They're not allowing them because
Then
the
run
people,
then run
their
targeted
base,
ads. Then run targeted
that
ads.
costs bread.
And they got the money. When it comes
Yeah,
to
but is it a waste of money?
no, it's
Right.
not. No, it's you can. It is.
Because
Let
look
me
at
tell
your
you why. It's not.
audience.
Let me tell you
Right.
why. Let me tell you why. Your
Right.
audience is you. The audience was you when you worked at USA before you got them to change the channel. That's your audience. The audience is America.
Mhm.
The audience is America. That's what the
But
audience is.
America is not watching Fox and
That's
OAN and
that's
Breitbart,
that
and those are
again.
Trumpers who are watching
You
those
you
networks.
OAN and what's the other one? One America
Breitbart,
Breitbart, no, yeah,
OAN is
those
One
are.
America
But
Network.
again, I ain't saying you need to spend a bit, but those advertisement dollars are way less than it costs to be on Fox. Again, you have to try to educate these. If you just say half the country is lost, we will never win because of the structural dynamics that we have in this country when it comes to the Senate and Wyoming and all these different places with two senators that has less people than Washington D.C. Like
Well, we can if we
I agree.
stop expecting Democrats to walk on water.
no,
No, that hold on, but
that's
you
not
right.
that's not walking on. Asking people to go and fight is not walking on water.
Right,
But
but here's
there,
your point. I'm sorry. Here's your point, which you even hit it on the head, right? You got to remember that. Say for I'm just throwing this out here as an example. You said they have tentacles in a lot of places and things that people don't really know that they got tentacles in paper, right? So Fox is, or whoever network it is, and it doesn't matter. And I'm disparaging any networks. I'm just saying this is how this works. They're an umbrella, right? They're under a bigger conglomerate. Some else owns Fox, right?
Clear
Fox is
Clear
Fox,
Channel,
Yeah,
right. And then there's a
Sinclair.
right. There's a
Sinclair,
right, but
yeah, Sinclair
there's a
Broadcasting.
bigger umbrella under all of that. Say for instance, the newspapers in Chicago or the magazine over here or that news network or this, they own all of that stuff. So it's not just what we see on a big screen. It's bigger tentacles. So the screen to them
Right.
is like a third of the country. You know what I mean? Or a
Mhm.
quarter of the country. Like you said, we're never getting them back. You're right. Look at how the news has shifted, right? What news network do you think will be more democratic right now?
I'm trying to figure out where you at. Are you saying that we should or
You hear
should
me out? No, but right now.
You lost me.
What? Just follow me. What? Okay, let's start. What news?
I would think
news
Disney.
network? Right. What news network would you say is predominantly Republican?
Fox, OAN,
Okay.
One
Yeah,
America.
no, I just need one.
NBC.
Right. NBC didn't used to be. So hear me out.
Yeah.
Which ones lean more toward Democrats right now?
Right now is MSNBC is the one that leans.
No, sir.
Nationwide.
Right. If you've been watching how it's been going, bro, it's not like that, man. They shut all. That's why a lot of the stuff that's going on is shifting, man. It's not like you would have that hard line where you are like, this is Fox and this is say NBC, right? It's not like that no more. That's how you see how long it took you.
It's all owned by billionaires. That's why.
Right. So what I'm saying is like the information that's now it's not just a third of the country. Now it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? Because these people over here are helping you. They may not be 100% helping you, but they're helping you.
So again, I understand what you're saying. That even CNN, MSNBC are firing people that they shouldn't be firing. They're trying to move more to the center than they were left. I'm not disputing that, and I'm not disagreeing with any of that. However, if you got advertisement dollars, they will take your money and put your stuff on, just like they
At 2
do.
o'clock in the morning.
Not if I listen.
No, that's now we all know they can do the. It's like you guys are just saying, oh, there's nothing we can do, so let's just.
I didn't say that. I didn't say there's nothing we can't do.
So
I'm just saying we cannot hold Democrats to a higher standard than what the Republicans are.
So Republicans can put.
They can lie to you. They can cheat.
Republicans can put ads on thanking Trump for the big beautiful bill. So Democrats should be able to do the exact same thing, showing why the bill is terrible. That's not
So
that's the exact same standard. That's not a higher standard.
But I've
That's the
seen on
exact same
TV
standard.
why the bill is
And
not good.
yes, you seen you have you seen it on Fox? Have you seen it on CNN? And
I don't
I'm
watch
talking
Fox.
about, and I'm talking no, I don't watch it either. I'm talking about like on CNN on commercials. Have you seen on MSNBC like blasted out there? Go they're 45% of this country don't even know what's in the bill.
The
Don't even
senators
know
and
what's in the bill.
congressmen who
So
voted on it didn't know what was in the bill.
That's my point.
Right.
That's my
So
point. But it is upon us to tell the American
It's
people.
upon
No,
us
listen,
to
Then
find
do it.
out.
listen. This is free advertisement for the Democrats. They don't really got to do anything if you're really watching what's
No,
going on.
absolutely
Listen,
not.
no. I'm not saying not doing anything, but hear me out. Just hear me out, Bobby. Just hear me out. Maybe they don't really need to do as much as you think, because maybe they are doing more than what you're thinking. You feel what I mean? Because sometimes people tell on themselves. Maybe they taking off their own mask. Why do I still got to pour water on your mask when you pulling it off already? Why I can put some water over here?
Then
You feel what I
amplify
mean?
it. Then amplify the mask. Then amplify it.
No. I don't. You shouldn't have to. And you, if you really think about it, look what's happening, right? All this stuff is happening right now. The sentiment, the job approval rate, or the approval rating was what when they first came into office?
It's going down.
It's dramatically.
enough.
He's the worst.
Listen.
Listen. What I'm trying to say is not trending any other. It's going down. That stock market is not going to be raised up ever. You know what I'm saying? So the sentiment is working already. So a lot of it's like, what else do you want me to? What else could we possibly be doing? The American people are watching this full time, firsthand. How this freaking this whatever it is that, in your opinion, this is going on with the whatever going on. You feel what I mean? Think about that for a second. You don't have to do much. If I'm already showing you I'm an asshole, I don't have to point out you're an asshole. You know what I'm saying? You showing everybody else you the asshole. I'm just gonna sit back and laugh at you.
So let me give you an
But
example.
you're my man, I'm gonna come get you.
Yeah. So
You know
let
what I mean? Like,
so let me give you an example of what's in the bill that I didn't even talk about before it passed, but I think now is a good time to talk about. So we're going to the next one, which is this was in the big beautiful bill, and this is just pertaining to immigration and what's going on. We all can agree what they're doing, mass people just picking people up with detention centers and all that is absolutely ridiculous, right? We all can agree on that, right?
Yes.
And this is exactly what's in the bill. All right, hold on, let me fix that. All right. Come on, give me a second. All right, so massive increase to ICE and the Border Patrol budget. So over the next 10 years, they're going to 5 to 10 years, they're going to get 150 billion of more enforcement on top of what they already had, on top of their already budget. So ICE is going to get another 29.9 billion for enforcement. They're going to get another 45 billion for detention centers. They're going to hire 85 to 10,000 more workers. And I seen when I was doing my research on this, a police commissioner said one of the worst things you can ever do is mass hire law enforcement because you're not getting the best. Go ahead. What I say? Absolutely. Yeah. So CP is a consumer. I'm sorry, consumer. The border protection, Customs and Border Protection, they're getting 45 billion more for wall infrastructure. They're going to be hiring 5,000 more officers.
So that wall that Trump said Mexico would pay for
it. We're
going to end up paying for it.
Yeah, we're paying for it. Whatever happened to that? Yeah. This is the big thing to me is the bottom, which it says no new immigration judges will be are funded and deepening the court backlog. So we're gonna get back into that to a second.
That's why they need the detention centers
because they have no plans on actually doing the
deporting.
process.
Yeah. They have no plans on actually deporting. They're going to use those people in those detention centers for slave labor.
Yes. All right. So here you have ICE, and so this is the ICE and CPD budget versus the U.S. Marines. Look how much bigger that budget is.
The Marines are worldwide, but CBT is the border.
It's just a border.
The north. So I'm sure it goes all the way around.
And it's only the southern border.
But the Marines got a border the worldwide. You understand what I mean?
Well, those extra patrols aren't going to be on the Canadian border.
Their budget will be more than a lot of countries' entire defense department.
100%.
Just ICE,
Yeah,
ICE and CPD.
but we don't have any money
We don't have any money to
feed
anything
children.
else. Exactly.
For
And guess
SNAP
who own all
benefits.
and guess who own all them companies that got to make all them bullets and get all them grains and make all them weapons and get all that plastic and get all them parts that go into each part of those things and invest. Who you think
Defense
own all of that stuff?
contractors,
You
Yes.
billionaires.
Who you think
Yes.
own the armor that go in the vest of those officers and got the certain weapons that the CBT whatever got
Yeah.
contracted with? Come on, bro. It's
the billionaires.
I
it's
understand
bigger
that.
than what people talking about.
But
That's what they mean by the billionaires gonna make this bread. That's because they are.
This
You
is
know what I'm
this
saying?
is as much this is important as anything when it comes to
Yeah.
the Medicaid and the food stamp cuts and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
Is you're gonna put thousands of
100%.
officers mass without having to show proper identification
Yeah.
and detention centers where they don't have access to good food, good water, and their lawyers.
Or even good bathroom facilities.
It's absolutely ridiculous. So they're gonna have over 100,000 detention beds are being funded under this thing.
Let me
With
tell you
no
how
new
that's going.
judges, with no
Look,
new judges. That
Right.
right there just tells you everything you need to know about what's going on. This is strictly about
And there'll be 99% black and brown.
Hey,
people.
listen,
Yeah.
listen how this is gonna work, bro. This is so big, right? So say for instance, you know how contracts work in the government, right? So say I go into that. Remember, I was talking all these pieces and parts that go how this gonna work with all these gazillionaires, how it's just a transfer of wealth. That's really what it's gonna be, right?
So this whole bill is
One day,
transfer wealth.
say one day I walk in and go and buy a vest, right, from a store, and say, hey, I want to buy a vest, just me, Ronnie, right? And this vest costs, I don't know, $300. The next day, if the government contract is going to be triple that price, quadruple that price, the government is going to be paying. The government is going to be paying $1,200 for that mug.
Yeah, it's like those $600 ashtrays they used to get.
Right. So that's the big. So that's what people don't understand. And that's what people that's like, oh, it's not going to affect us for the next 10 years. Do you not understand how it's going to be worse by that point? You know what I mean? It's gonna escalate.
And that is why to me, seeing, because they're not coming after black folks yet. And what I mean by that, I mean by black skin yet. I'm talking about hate. They are taking their protections away.
Yeah, that's what all the DEI elimination is. They're coming after black folks.
Yeah, TPS. They're gonna come after black folks. Oh, DEI stuff, but I'm saying the TPS, they're taking away this stuff from Haitians. But
they got rid of them too.
What kills me and what I still don't understand is, for our Hispanic brothers and sisters out there, like, how could you vote for this? Because you are basically voting in stop and frisk for you and your entire family.
Because they believe the lies he told when he said,
I know.
I'm only going to deport criminals. They believed him.
But see, they heard what they wanted to hear. They heard it because he also said they all got to go. At his Republican,
they didn't hear that part. Just like they didn't hear the part when he said, I'm not Christian.
Yeah,
Christians
they didn't
hear that part.
They didn't hear this. They didn't see the signs either that said mass deportations. He said he was gonna get rid of everybody.
Yeah, he did.
But they heard what they wanted to hear.
They didn't, criminal part.
Yeah, they didn't hear what they wanted to hear. So this is a family I wanted to play. And I just want to hear y'all opinion on the other side of this. Anybody that you watch right now, if you're on Facebook, please go to the YouTube and join on YouTube. I really would appreciate it. If you're on the YouTube, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, put the comments in there. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to join the show, I put it in the YouTube and the Facebook to hit the link to join the show if you have something that you want to say. I appreciate everybody, and I love all my shipmates. But this one right here floored me, and I wanted to for us to look at it together as a whole shipwreck, community. Here we go.
Meanwhile, an Iranian woman detained by federal agents, she and her family, all supporters of President Trump. See the MAGA hats. President Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live for us in Diamond Bar. And Matthew, those Trump flags staying up tonight.
Yeah, those flags staying up. This family still supports Donald Trump despite
hear
their
it?
mom being
detained.
Can anybody hear it? If you can put it in the chat. Auntie, could you hear it?
I can't hear it either.
You can't? Okay, hold on. Did y'all hear the last one?
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, the first one you played, we heard.
Okay, hold on. Let me see here.
The final moments home for an
Can you
Iranian
hear it
woman
now?
detained by immigration agents.
No.
A mother Monday
No?
going inside to say bye to her 4.
Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Add it again.
Meanwhile, an Iranian woman detained by
hear
federal
that one?
agents. She and her family.
Yeah, we can hear it now.
All supporters of President Trump.
I
See the
can't hear
MAGA
that.
hats.
Keep going. I'll figure it
President
out.
Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live for us in Diamond Bar. And Matthew, those Trump flags staying up tonight.
Yeah, those flags staying up. This family still supports Donald Trump despite their mom being detained. The final moments home for an Iranian woman detained by immigration agents. A mother Monday going inside to say bye to her 4 kids.
She came and kissed the kids, and that was it. That's the last time I saw her.
A proud President Trump supporting family in Diamond Bar.
Election time was here. I had a full 3-4 flags out.
Even while their mom faces immigration questions. Has your opinion changed on this?
That's a good question. Somewhat it has. Just because I'm going through it. I was very selfish before. But what I see right now is, okay, there's a reason for it.
Arthur Sahakian's wife, Arpaneh, was born in Iran and moved to the United States when she was 3 as a refugee.
She cashed a check, I believe it was less than $200, and this is all where it started.
Then, about 15 years ago, her green card was revoked over a conviction related to theft.
It's all misdemeanor stuff.
Arthur says they've been going through the legal process towards regaining citizenship with check-ins every 6 months or so.
She just went in April, and they said, okay, you're fine, have a good day. We'll see you back in September or October.
Then last week, the United States bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran, increasing tensions and concerns of Iranian sleeper cells retaliating in the U.S.
I'm very for of them seeing the Iranian nationals because of the sleeper cells. I understand that.
Federal sources tell Fox News that more than 130 Iranian nationals were detained in the U.S. this last week.
I think it will resolve a lot of issues because we all know exactly who's in here for what reasons. Even though I miss her dearly, but I think we could do a better job of you catch someone, you see they're national, and do a background real quick and see if they have ties to the community and ties to families over here, and let them go.
What do you think's going to happen?
I'm on the list to be going to a different facility.
Arpaneh speaking with us on the phone, uncertain about her future. Any regrets with your vote?
None. Still supporting him.
While her family continues showing support for President Trump, hoping their mom comes home soon.
Trump is not trying to do anything bad. We understand what he's doing, and he wants the best for the country.
So right now, it's unclear if and when that mom could return home. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Can y'all imagine that? His wife is literally in a detention center. His son is literally on a couch crying.
And he's still supporting Trump.
And he still supports Trump.
Yeah. There's no words, If she ever makes it back here, because they're going to deport her ass. They're sending her back to Iran.
They're going to send her back.
If she ever makes it back, she needs to
Iran.
divorce. Yeah, she needs to divorce his ass.
No, she's fine. She's fine with it. Sounds like.
So
she didn't say.
She said they're moving her to another facility. That's the next step to get her out of the country.
Yeah, it is. And so it's mind-boggling that your wife.
But that's the way they are. They don't care
and you're like,
happens to them.
I'm good. I don't see a problem with what I did. If you're watching this, please put a comment because I want to hear what the community got to say about this.
Because he still believes that they're going to realize the error that they made. They're going to vet her, and then they're going to send her home, and let's bygones be bygones. That's what he's still thinking.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that dude about to make so much money. Listen, everybody gonna want him on this show. It might be the play. You know what I mean? They might.
That's insane.
Do you even know these people for real? Like, are you serious? Like, this man got the kid, like his children, their children.
He cares more about Trump than his children.
So
Yeah.
But there are deranged folk out there like that. You know what I mean? There's just some people that's is even now. You know what we should be doing? This is what we should be doing from now on, right? You know how they always have like when the mass killers they go out there and shoot people. Like, oh, they did it because they're mentally ill. Maybe all those Trump people should be looked at as many mentally ill people, and then they can go get maybe looked at, and then if they mentally ill, they can't freaking vote because they obviously don't know what the like. This should open people's eyes even further to
You
where
would
you
think.
should think that if a person looks into this, if a person that's religious, bro, look and say, hey, I'm cool with my wife going away to whoever, whatever it is, because I see you at a higher light. Dude, that should open up a whole lot of people's eyes to really understand how some of these people are so far, like you were saying, so far gone, you're not going to get them back.
Yeah.
But he's
So
cool
that's
with
why
her sitting in a detention center.
Now,
Your wife is in a detention center.
I just want to say what because Holly brings up a good theory that could be the case. Does he really support Trump, or is he afraid to say what he really wants to say?
He
Because
supports Trump.
because he knows that if you go against him, you're definitely not gonna get your wife back. But if you say, please, pretty please, dear leader, I love you, I support you, and I'm always support you.
Listen,
well,
could you imagine him? Listen, could you imagine him getting his wife back from all the other people that's before him that are higher freaking, the higher like
you don't think he would do
newsworthy
it?
people?
You
Are you man?
you don't think
Listen,
he would do it?
listen,
hell
listen,
no.
look
Man,
at
come on.
listen, look at my hat. Look.
Come on, man.
I hope that he does do that. I really do. I really hope that he freaking would say, you know what, out of all these people, you know what, they good. Don't worry about it. And if people still want to still follow this clown or still follow these people that are putting them down in this
They
position,
follow him after all of the
then
things he's already done.
listen,
He can
To
kiss
make it seem like there's not already enough for them not to follow
kiss
him.
his wife
because
goodbye.
it's free advertisement.
You gotta fund.
Dude, that's gonna infuriate a lot of people. So that's I'm glad that they even. I'm
Why?
glad. I'm
Why would it?
surprised.
Why would it?
Honestly, I'm surprised that they allowed this to even be put into this realm for more people to see that. You know, if I was them, I would want to hide this because I wouldn't want to know. I wouldn't want even to have that thought of my people being cult members. That's a cult member mentality, bro. You
I bet you they didn't show it on Fox.
You give your spouse less freaking importance than this clown, this person that you revere over your spouse that gave you 4 lives. Are you like that? Should tell people what kind of deranged people are that are following this man or whatever you guys want to call that. Look into your spirit. You look into that. If you're a religious person, if you allow for that to happen, you still want to support a person that has followers, like that, then you are complicit. You're complicit. That means your silence is okay with it. That means if you watching somebody get beat up and shot and killed and robbed and you don't say nothing, you don't do nothing to help or whatever, you're complicit. That's how I look at it.
I agree with you. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's absolutely atrocious. Like I couldn't see how you could support a man like that. But at the same point, you know, could Holly be right? I'm just bringing up, devil's advocate here
Absolutely, she
because it
could.
makes
Absolutely, 100%.
because you know how vain a man is, and if you think you can get your wife back,
He might be in the next stage. What you mean?
you may
What you mean?
yeah, you may take that. But this is where I'm about to play this video because this is a man that to me is a complete and utter hypocrite. That shows how terrible and how delusional these people truly are. So let me bring it up here. Hold on. Uh-oh, wrong one. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, hold on. Where is it?
Oh my God, bro.
No, yeah, it's about this,
All
but
right.
hold on. That's not the right one. That's not even the right one. Let me find it. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a one man band here, so you got to bear with me. There it is. All right. Can y'all see that? Can you see the guy or see this
Yep,
picture right
Alexander
here?
Alcatraz, man, they selling.
Yeah.
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 Here's a family
Yeah. So,
thinking that
man,
it's fun to kill
pictures out in
people.
front of it,
There's their faces.
and the spectacle that it is. Like it's a good thing. This the part that kills me, right? So he took his pictures out of Allegheny Alley, and he goes over there and thanks the cop for doing what he does. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for doing what you do, sir. I really appreciate that. But you cool with Trump pardoning the the thousands of people that he pardoned. That's what tells you that it's not about the blue. It's not about the uniform. It's not about the law that they protect. It's about the supremacy of we taking this country back and you helping us do it. And those cops, those officers that was at the January 6th at the Capitol was impeding that from happening. And I'll say that to the day I die. You can never talk to me, anybody that's a Trumper have I ever seen them say back to blue, you full of shit. I've been saying that even before January 6th, I would say it was a Confederate flag. It's just a polite Confederate flag to me. It always has been. But that right there, how can you have respect for officers and support and have a Trump hat on when he released officers who beat up cops?
Caused the death of a couple. What you mean? At the highest level cops, you know what I mean? They're there to protect.
See,
They're to protect everybody.
I don't even bring that into it. I don't even bring that into it because they can have plausible deniability of that. What they can't have plausible deniability of is that they beat cops up.
Call it what you want.
They can't. But
yeah, but a lot of there were I get what you're saying. But ultimately, you know what I'm saying? Again, this goes back to what I was trying we talked about in the beginning. These cats at that level don't care about nothing but bread. They don't care how they get it, who they jack over. They don't care how you feel about it because they're not here for you to like them. They here to.
It's bigger than money
bro,
to
it's
me.
all,
It's money.
man. No,
It's
it's
money
all.
and
Listen,
it's money
it's
and
always bread, bro. Always gonna lead to money. You know what I'm saying? And money is power. You understand what I mean? So what it is like when they do stuff, what happens at that level, obviously we don't truly understand. But a lot of it is like we're percolating. Us, the normal people, I shouldn't say normal, the mass majority of folk, they can't just hide. They can't just, you know what I mean, hide, cover, smoke things over that like, oh, that really didn't happen. Or they won't cover it for about a day and then it's over with. They can't do that anymore. They can't say something, 20 years ago that don't come by them in a tail anymore because we got too much information. You know what I mean? You can't hide the thing. So now they're just being blatant about it. You know what I mean? At this point, like now it's kind of like, okay, well, shit, y'all already know what time it is. This is what it is. What are you going to do about it? Is to go out there and what they do is they knock you down a little bit and say, hey, this is what's happening. They disparage everything that you want. They find out, dude, these cats are so good, man. They go into each of these pockets of the of America, man. They find out what it is they like, don't like. Obviously, what their norms are, all this kind of stuff. They don't think they got algorithms. There's AI out here that before we even knew what AI was, they had that shit 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They've been playing with this for a long time, bro. This ain't no, oh my God, this AI is the biggest thing. They had that shit way before we got it. So they so far that's what I keep trying to tell people. They so far light years away ahead of this stuff. Man, they've been calling this stuff out since Bernie was saying this, but since the 60s, 70s. You know what I'm saying? So that should let you know that these cats are so far ahead of us that you ain't catching up, but we're catching up faster than they are accepting. They're going to knock you down a little bit. They're gonna have to they got to. And if you're a kingpin, and I want you to be 100, I want you to be 1,000. If you the kingpin, do you ever want to give up your spot?
Absolutely
What would
not.
you do? What would
Yeah,
you do?
you
What
don't
would
want
you
to.
do?
You
What
don't
would you
want
do
to.
to keep it?
You're gonna do what you got to do.
100%. What you think
Yeah,
them? What you
yeah, you're
think
gonna do what
these
you got to
cats
do.
doing?
And I agree. I agree. I agree. That's what this is.
It's
That's
the
what's going on
biggest
right
grip
now.
ever, bro. It's so gangster that we've been living under it for so long that people that, oh my God, you're a hypocrite. You would do the exact same thing.
So I'm gonna ask both of y'all the same question. If y'all have family members or friends or whatever that are Trump
Mm-hmm.
supporters, um, have you been able to talk to them since Trump has been in office and recently, let's call it the last month. And Ronnie, I'm gonna start with you. Where are they now?
Exactly.
How are they
They're
feeling?
exactly how they were at the very beginning, bro. Nothing has changed. Fact checks, sit down, really discussing it, having heart to heart, all of it. They still don't understand. And listen to what I'm trying to tell you, bro. My family is educated. Cats, they got education. You know what I mean? I got a couple doctors.
Yeah.
I got, you know what I'm saying? I got cats that do their thing. You know what I'm saying? They're bright, very bright, educated, college educated men. That's the whole point behind it, right? Where you would think that, and it's not a lot. Don't get me twisted. It's only like there's a
Yeah.
little sprinkle here and there. But the whole
Mhm.
thing is, you have those people are so in their thought process that they think they figure things out. There is no compromise in that until something specifically happens to somebody, either they are around or happens to them. And hopefully it doesn't ever get to that point, because they are actually kind of in our level, where it's not really, it's gonna affect us, but not really affect us. You know what I mean? So the whole thing is like, that's how it
What
is.
were their reasons for supporting him? What were their reasons?
Listen,
Because it's hard. It's hard. I thought I was gonna be able to have
so I'm
somebody
gonna
on
say,
today. He couldn't
I'm
make it.
gonna
He
be a
got a
thousand
family
with you.
event,
I'm
and I think he will
I'm be
eventually.
I'm be a
But
thousand. Yeah, I'm be a thousand, because they didn't know, they didn't trust uh Kamala. Now the people that I'm talking about,
was it a black
no,
woman
no, no,
thing? Was it a
no.
black
We were
woman thing?
most of my family female, so it ain't that. It's just they didn't trust how she was when she was in California, when she was the DA and the Attorney General. And you got to remember, a couple of them were locked up for some time in the federal
Mhm.
penitentiary. So they
Mhm.
well versed in a lot of this stuff. But
Then they should have looked up her. They should have looked up her background and seen that the programs that she got to get people out, the work release, and all the different things that she did. Like she had to be a prosecutor when she needed a
right.
prosecutor, but she.
I've talked through all of this. I've talked through all
Yeah.
of this, but you got to remember that a lot of people, and we got the largest prison system in the world, right? And these people are getting
Yes, we
out.
do.
Eventually, they'll
And
eventually,
it's about to get much
right.
bigger.
Eventually, these people, they got people that are attached to them that think them as being, who they need to be. You know what I'm saying? So they are effective
Mhm.
people. They can't. A lot of them don't have their right to vote back yet, because they got to try to get it back. And a lot of them are felons. But you got to remember, they're a seed for, say, 8 people that can go vote, or they're a
Mhm.
seed for 100 people that can go vote. You feel what I mean? So it's a lot.
Mhm.
It's a lot into each side of it, on both sides, not just on one side more in particular, but it's on both sides. So those people are just as important. So if you're listening and you think that, hey, I don't have an input because I can't go vote, I got a background. A lot of states now are offering, them opportunities to go get their voting rights back. Because my people
Yeah.
got a couple people got their stuff back, and it takes some work. It does. It takes some work, but you do have a voice, because
Yeah.
again, like I said, you were a seed for all the people that are around you. You know what I'm saying? To feed them
Yeah.
the right information, because a lot of them that's been in time, they read law. You know what I'm saying? They go through the background. They
Mhm.
understand how this works and what these things mean, and how to put it to people that don't. Is what I'm saying.
All right. So Spot Diva, I'm gonna
Yeah.
come to you, but before I go, anybody that's watching a pod that would like to join in, I put the link into the chat. Just go ahead and click it, and you can come on in. If you can't find it, let me know. Anybody's watching on Facebook, please go to the YouTube and watch. If you're on YouTube, please hit like. Please hit like. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. All right, Spot Diva, do you have anybody
Ooh.
that family or anything that believe in Trump or are Trump supporters, and where are they at? Where are they at in their process, you think,
I
right now?
have probably 3, maybe 4 family members that supported Trump One is a gay black male.
Really? I would love to have him on.
I don't know if he'd come on though. But I tried to talk to him and explain, in a calm manner, and told him I have never lied to him his entire life, but he's going to believe someone that lies all the time. Well, he's changed his tune. I don't know what made him change
Oh.
his tune, but I told him that Trump, because he has a long-term boyfriend, and I told him, Trump can't stand the ground that y'all walk on. He can't stand the air that you breathe. But he didn't believe me. So I don't know if something happened or he heard something or learned something to change his mind. But he did tell me that he's no longer a Trump supporter. I know.
What changed his mind? Well, I
I
guess
don't know.
first, what made him? Well, so what was his talking points when he was a Trump
Well,
supporter?
he
What
said that he
made
said
him?
something about Kamala was going to keep women from taking care of their kids because they were going to be waiting for welfare checks or something.
Say it again. I'm sorry. Say
He
that again.
believed that Kamala was going to be giving women checks and they would not be taking care of their kids. Yeah, so he heard that somewhere, whether it was on Fox
Okay.
News or OAN or Breitbart, but he heard that somewhere that Trump, Kamala was just going to be giving black women checks so they didn't have to take care of their kids. I don't know what else, because he's several women in our family relied on public assistance, including me at one time. So I don't know where. I never understood that.
Where the
Yeah,
animosity
I don't
came
know. I
from?
never understood that. And it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
they're not going to be women in your life because you're with a man. So why do you care?
Yeah.
But I tried to talk to him and he kind of shut me down. But I'm glad he's seen the light, even though the vote's been cast already. I have another relative that that still, we've had several conversations that always end up in arguments. So I don't even broach that subject anymore, because it's just going to end up in screaming matches. So we don't even talk about Trump and I have another relative that said, she likes Trump because he says what he thinks. And I don't know if she had anything against Kamala, and she's a nurse, but she thought COVID was a hoax, or believed, not that it was a hoax, but believed that the government should not have done shut down, and she had a lot of things against COVID, but a lot of people who supported Trump don't realize that he's the one who shut down the government.
That's
Yeah.
about to say. So how can you blame Biden
Oh,
for that when it started under
right,
Trump?
right.
Like it's
But that's what they
the,
do.
the way the mental
Yeah.
gymnastics people do to support this man
It's
is really astonishing to me. It's
it is.
really truly astonishing. I don't know how you can, be a man of
Yeah.
faith, and support
That's the
somebody like
thing. And
Trump.
he said that
He
he is not a Christian. He said that at one of his rallies. I'm not Christian. But they think that he was
No,
chosen.
I can't. I have
I've
never
heard
heard him
it.
say
I've
that. I'm
heard
gonna
it.
be honest. I've
Yeah.
never heard him say that. And if you don't mind, send it to
I'll
me. Yeah,
find
please send it to me because I like to be
because
factual. And if somebody that says something, crazy other end, I'm
yeah,
not saying it's just
I
crazy. I'm just saying if somebody says something, on the other end, I would say you got
I
to
sh-
send me
I
that.
sh-
So
I
please send me
shared it
that
on
I heard that
because
one.
I
Bloviator,
want
so
to.
I can find it. I'll
Yeah,
find it.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that. But it's so many different things, just the grift alone
Yeah.
on the Trump Bible and
Right.
all, and sneakers and
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 the
how
and the
he talked to
coins
people
and
and
yeah,
just
the watches and
it's so you know what he's doing to now sending people to the South. Like, how is this Christian like in any way whatsoever? They came from El Salvador. I'm just making up a country. And then now you send them from Central
Right.
America. Let's go with Central America, South America, and you send them to Africa.
Right. And they've never been to Africa. Never.
100%.
That has happened.
Yeah.
This is not hypothetical, people.
Yeah.
Anybody watch right now? This is not hypothetical. He has sent people to the South Sudan.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court said he can do that.
He can do it. So you tell me, one, how is that Christian like? How does that make any sense whatsoever? And two, if you're a fiscal conservative and you say we need to stop spending money as a government, yada yada yada, wouldn't it be cheaper to send them back to South America or Central America than South Sudan?
Well,
Last I checked, Sudan is on the eastern side of Africa. So, I mean,
yeah, it's
that's
a long
damn way.
Yeah, and they've had to fly him because they
had to fly him. They had to fly him. That's I mean,
but it's the same thing with
that
Abbott.
is,
you know, he spent millions of
That's
dollars busing people to Massachusetts. You know, instead of sending them across the border when they got here, he bused them to Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, Greg
Abbott
Abbott,
and Dick Santis.
And yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, that cost taxpayers millions of dollars.
Yeah. So we still, since we still don't have anybody that are actual Trump supporters on the show, we're going to continue to show people that regret their vote. So I got another video for y'all to watch real quick, and then we'll just see what you guys got on the other side.
A wave of disappointment. One of President Donald Trump's most loyal voting blocs, Cuban and Venezuelan immigrants. Now,
Donald Trump,
in Miami, a Republican stronghold, as the recent wave of deportations hits home, and the Trump administration moved to end temporary legal status, or TPS, for more than 500,000 people who arrived during the Biden administration. Elena Conde says she came here from Cuba on humanitarian parole in 2023. Her husband, Ariel Lara, crossed the border with Mexico twice, once in 2019 when he was detained and deported, and then again in 2022. 6 weeks ago, he was taken into custody at his residency hearing.
So he was given an appointment to go to ICE. You told him before he left for that appointment, you don't have anything to worry about. You haven't done anything.
Instead, he was transferred to Texas, where we spoke to him from his detention center.
Ariel, ¿qué piensas sobre lo que está pasando ahora en este país, en este momento con respecto a las deportaciones? How do you feel about everything that's happening right now in this country with the deportations? You don't understand how this could happen. ¿Qué pensaba que iba a pasar cuando ganó Trump? What did you think was going to happen when Trump won? You're saying you believed the president when he said he was going to deport criminals.
Now, Elena is left behind with her daughter, 7-month-old son, and Ariel's 70-year-old grandmother, who has been a U.S. citizen for years. Together, facing a reality they never imagined.
Toda mi familia votó por Trump. Your whole family voted for Trump. Lo apoyaba a Trump durante su campaña. Did you support him? Yo estoy fuera. You're outside of it. You can't vote. Pero te sientes decepcionada? Do you feel disappointed, deceived, engañada? Me siento mal porque sé que ellos creían en él. You feel bad because the rest of them believed in him.
It's a concern Democratic strategists are capitalizing on, with billboards like these calling Republican lawmakers traitors. Still, here in Florida, Trump won almost 70% of the Cuban-American vote in 2024, along with 61% of Doral, home to the largest Venezuelan-American population in the U.S.
They used us.
Adelis Ferro is the co-founder and executive director of the Venezuelan-American Caucus.
How is the Venezuelan community feeling right now, especially in the context of these deportations?
Desperate, terrified. There are people with mental health issues. There are people with panic attacks, anxiety attacks. They rather to die than go back to Venezuela, and then
people
you have to stop.
Talking about taking their
I
lives
have those messages
because the situation
because
here
of the situation. They rather
so
to take their own lives, yes, than go back to Venezuela.
The ripple effects affecting families and businesses. This Venezuelan business owner, who asked us not to use his name to protect his business and fellow owners, said the political instability has led to a 20% drop in revenue.
It's affected your clients as well as the people who work here. A lot of people have already invested in businesses here, and they've stopped because they just don't know what the future brings.
Still, experts say the current turmoil may not hurt the Republican Party.
All this stuff done in the first 200 days of the administration. They have a long road ahead before the midterms.
Do you think that Trump will pay a political price?
I'm not sure that Trump or the Republican Party as an institution is going to suffer a great deal unless the Democrats can muster an opposition that is a compelling vision as to how things could be done differently.
Morgan Radford, NBC News.
We thank you for.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I agree with you when you say you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to advertise and get the word out for that because they're feeling it personally.
Yeah, but will they change
I agree
their vote?
Will they change their vote? And if they don't, then they're just stuck on stupid.
Well, they are.
They're just stuck on stupid. I mean, it's.
I mean,
to me, that is no difference than Trump coming out and saying we're going to start stop and frisk for black criminals, and not thinking that you're going to be part of that black criminal when they start. We're going to hire 100,000 more police officers, 10,000 more police officers, but you're not going to get frisked.
Right.
You're not going to get stopped. You're not going to get harassed as that black doctor that you got in your family there, Ronnie. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's absolutely
insane.
Ridiculous.
It's insane.
It's insane.
But
it's
how
insane.
much fucking around and finding out can they do?
Listen, we've been here worse times before. Here's what people don't realize, right? And this is something that I say don't panic and the system's going to work. It's going to work. It's not going to work as fast as people want. What percentage of Democrats registered Democrats that didn't vote, had they voted, would have swung the election the other way?
Oh, we would have won,
yeah.
but we had indignation.
Hear me out. Hear me out. I got to point them. You know what I mean? So those people that didn't think it was important to vote the last time are realizing, holy freaking scamoly mameli, I'm a freaking idiot, right? We got we got your podcast out here seeding it up. We got all the people that's around us. We're seeding it up. You know what I mean? They're putting this out for themselves. They're seeding it up themselves. Those posters that you just saw and those red is on purpose. They are out there doing those things. They're just not going to advertise it because you don't need to see it where you live. I don't know specifically where you are in Texas, but I do know. I don't know if you read.
It's in Trump country,
right? Do you see any of those things around your place?
As far as
like
what
billboards or Democrats saying?
Oh, I got one right across
Democrats
the street.
saying
right. I every time I walk out my door, I got Trump with his fist up at the assassination.
The alleged assassination.
Right.
I walk out my door.
That's on purpose, bro. So I don't know where. I don't know.
And he's Puerto Rican.
True story. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, so people, that's what I'm telling. That's what I mean by the system is going to work. But people don't realize that portion of it because they don't see it, right? And they can't even envision it because a lot of people don't. Their minds, a lot of people's minds aren't focused on. Their minds are on. I need to go to work, feed my baby, maybe change the diaper, go make sure mama got her breathing thing. I got anxiety because I got to go back to this boss that keep funneling. You know what I mean? So their minds aren't focused on what their minds are, but they're starting to be like, oh, wait a minute, we need to pay more attention to what's going on and not just, you know what I mean, all the stuff that's going on just right here in my world. I need to find out what's in the bigger world. So those people are starting to be like, hold on, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? People are starting to wake up. People are starting to speak out. Some of the people that were on that side, I mean, wholeheartedly are like, whoa, wait a minute. I've seen people on here. It was so many. That's a lot of the posts that I seen that I was sending.
Yeah.
Those people were stone cold Trump supporters, some of them, right? Now they like, whoa, man, wait a minute. Was I that sleep? Yes, you were that freaking sleep, right? But now that you're waking up, now you're woke. They don't want you to be woke. They want you to stay asleep so we can give you with any dream that we want to do, and you ain't gonna be weary of none of it. But you're gonna think it's the best thing ever if you wake up. You know what I'm saying? Or you might be in a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Depending on who you are and where you are.
That's why they turned woke into a dirty word.
100%.
They don't want people to be woke.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely they did. Absolutely did. They
100%.
absolutely did. 1000%. So, Diva, I just want to let you know that this is why our community is so great, and we're all about facts, and we're all about making sure that we have conversation in a factual way. Somebody has sent me did the research for you because you're busy. You are on a pie, so somebody has sent me and did the research for you. You can thank Brother Black here when you see him. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip that he sent me. And we can judge for ourselves what the truth is, because it is what it is. So here we are. Can y'all see it? Okay.
Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again.
Notice how he snuck it in there? I love
he
you,
did
Christians.
sneak it in
I'm
there.
not Christian.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I had no idea he said that.
A lot of Christians have no idea he said that.
I had no idea he had ever said that.
I shared that in Bloviators.
I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah. He said it.
Wow.
He said it. I mean, how much clearer can you get than that? He said it at a rally.
Let's play that again. Let's play that again because it's wow.
He said it in front of
play it again.
Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again.
But did y'all hear the applause stop?
Was there any ambiguity in
the applause stop when he said that, though? So he really did say that.
He did. And he said, not me.
I'm not Christian, but I love you.
When he said that, did you notice the applause stopped? Did y'all hear that? Like, it was quiet.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
What?
They weren't sure what they heard.
Listen closely, watch.
They were a little shocked.
Yeah.
They did stop talking as much.
Yeah, they was like, what?
They did stop.
But then they started clapping again.
Yeah, because he kept going, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he couldn't have said that. He couldn't have said that.
In there.
Yeah, he did. But
he did.
But I don't know. I think there's something that he clarified about what you have to stand that much. I don't think he even know what the hell he said half the damn time.
And I know he's gonna clarify.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna clarify. But the proof
of course.
The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Like if Barack Obama had 3 baby mamas, 4 kids from 3 baby mamas, and cheated on 2 of them.
You mean Trump?
I'm sorry, 3 wives. 3 wives, 4 kids, cheated on 2 of them.
Cheated on all of them.
All of them. Actually, all of them. You're right. Absolutely right. He cheated on all of them. Do you think the evangelical Christians would be voting for him? Absolutely not. That's why even the people that think that they're voting for him for Christianity based, are really being duped by.
That's the shocking part.
And I keep saying it because there is no other reason there's no other thing to say other than white supremacy and a cult. Because and the reason why I keep going back to that is you can't point to the Bible where the man would make sense to say, yes, this is more Christian, because Barack Obama went to church damn near every Sunday when he was in the White House.
And he went to church
Biden went
that.
to church damn near every Sunday. The only time Trump went to church was with inauguration and when somebody died.
That's it.
And to hold the Bible up.
And
upside
this
down.
last time, he
Like
did not put his hand on the Bible when he was sworn in.
it just it's astonishing to me. And then look how the man lives his
Yeah.
life. Look how narcissistic nothing about the man is
No.
Christian-like. And don't get me wrong, let me start with this. I personally don't go to church. I believe in a higher power, I believe in the Lord, but I do not personally go to
Me either.
church. That's another thing for another day, and that's probably we probably need to have a pod on it. But I don't,
That's
but
where the sinners
I try
are.
to live my life the right way. I try to live my life the right way, and I know that man is not living his life the right way.
He's,
There is no. All I gotta say is to anybody watching right now: would you want your child or your grandchild to be like that man? In any way?
and if you ask them that, and I have, they'll say, well, yeah, I'd want him to have his money. Yeah.
They are not Christians.
No,
Period.
they're not.
That's what Holly
They're not.
thinks.
They're not. I call them
Yeah.
fake Christians.
Yeah. But I just want to have, and I'm not going to say that they're fake. I just think they're misguided. I'm gonna just because and the reason why you have to do it that and we right have to start in that place is because the only way that you can reach people and have a conversation, like if you want to have a chance to change their opinion, change their mind, you can't go into the conversation insulting people.
But that's what they do.
You have to meet them where they're at. No, but whether they do it or not, and then you're right about that. Not all of them. Not all of them.
No.
Let me start with that. Not all of them. Like you can have conversations with people, and so if you're going to saying you're fake and all
And
this
those
stuff,
are the ones I
you're
have conversations
they
with.
they just don't know. They just don't know. And I have some conversations with them as well. We're gonna start to shut this down. So I have people that's watching. You know, if you have anything, let us know before we start to shut it down. But I just wanted to play one more video. This is the last video I have, and this is a business owner that voted for Trump and how it's affecting his business. I just wanted to play this, and then we're just gonna go on, and then we're going, go from there.
Vincent, you voted for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
6 Nicaraguan men on May 27th were detained along US 1 in Sugarloaf Key on their way to a job. Vincent Scardina is the owner of the roofing company where they worked. Given his support for the president, we asked what he would tell the commander-in-chief.
What happened here? This situation is just blatantly not at all what they said it was.
While he agrees with most of the president's
I can't hear
policies,
It's freezing.
Okay, hold on.
It's just going frame by
hold on.
frame.
A wave of
There you go.
disappointment.
Oh wait,
Yeah, that's the previous.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
other
the
one.
other one.
That's the other one. Yeah, hold on. I can bring it back up.
Vincent, you voted for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
6 Nicaraguan men on May 27th were detained along US 1 in Sugarloaf Key on their way to a job. Vincent Scardina is the owner of the roofing company where they worked. Given his support for the president, we asked what he would tell the commander-in-chief.
What happened here? This situation is just blatantly not at all what they said it was.
While he agrees with most of the president's policies, he thought the Trump administration was going to focus solely on deporting criminals. It seems immigration officials, he says, are just trying to meet quotas now.
Buyer's remorse? I don't know. A little bit. I know of one landscaper that lost 9 or 10 of the whole crew, and he's just totally out of business all of a sudden.
It's pretty obvious, I would say, that the reason why they were pulled over is because they're Latino men.
Their immigration attorney says it should not have happened because 5 of the 6 have their paperwork in order with pending asylum cases.
Valid work permit, not even close to be expired. And no criminal record, not here, not in Nicaragua.
Losing these 6 men is losing a third of his workers.
We're not able in Key West to just replace people as easily as, say, a big city. It's financially as well as emotionally. So it takes a toll. You get to know these guys. You become their friends, just not an employer, but a friend. And you see what happens to their family. It's quite a shock.
He did it to him.
again, yeah, he heard what he wanted
Yeah.
to hear when he
I
voted for
mean, those
Trump.
weren't the
He
black
did.
jobs that Trump talked about. They can't go hire some black folks.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Obviously not. He heard what he wanted to
Yeah, no
hear.
American
y'all do.
gonna do those jobs either.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
All right, community. It's been a great pod today. This is the 6-month checkup. It is very hard. Let me just say this: it is very hard to get Trump supporters to come on the pod. Um, if you know of any that would like to come on, don't get me wrong. Things come up and stuff like that, but um our community is honestly it's mostly non-Trump supporters, so it's hard for us to find people to come on and join the conversation, because I would love to have that dialogue to dissect why they think the way they think, why they feel the way they feel. So if anybody out there that can help us to bring more people on that would like to have an honest, factually based conversation, I would love to have them come on. Thank you again, Black, because that's, like I said, that's what our community is about. It's about honest conversation. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to be there for each other, to learn, to educate. That's why we are here.
and that's why it's hard to get them
We-
on, is because they don't want factual
it is.
conversation.
That's very
Right,
true.
right.
Very, very.
And you know what? I actually looked up that percentage, right? And it said that if said 40, if they had the thing again, 40% or 40% would have changed their vote to Kamala, but 44% of the people, I'm talking about the non-voters, Democratic non-voters,
Mhm.
40% said they would have voted for Kamala. 44% say they would have voted for Trump, bro.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So
His margin of victory
wait,
would
no,
have been higher had it been more people.
higher.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's, but I don't know.
That's
It didn't,
insane.
Mhm.
but it didn't say when it was taken. You know what I'm saying? It didn't say when that data was taken. But
Yeah. Yeah.
just think about that kind of stuff too. Like even if the people, so we got to get other people like that, the people that's defecting, if you will, to come on the side of righteousness, or in our perceived light, because you can't. For me, people have their perspectives, right? People are always going to have their
Mhm.
perspective. You can't really tell a person that their perspective is wrong. You just can't. No matter how
Mhm.
you think of it, if you see a murderer kill a kid and in my perspective, that's fucking wrong. It's definitely fucking wrong. In their mind, they might be
Mhm.
like feeding some weird stuff in their mind. You understand what I mean? So a lot of people, like, those are the people that we talked about earlier, where those people are not coming back, bro. They're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
coming back. But that 2/3
But the
that you
people
talked
that
about is they got the possibility
they trust-
of that. You know what I mean? If we get a third of that and they get a third of our people back, that we straight.
but it starts with communication and education.
100%. Yes.
That's the only way that we're going to get them to understand what's going on. Communication and
Yes.
education, and understanding that, yes, voting at the local level counts, and all every vote that you can cast counts, and you have to do that. You need to do that. But when you're wondering why your school board are letting teachers go and closing these schools, it's as much as it has to do with your local community's tax revenue, has to do with the federal government as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about to get much worse under this administration, because we are strangling our revenue. We are already broke as a
Mm-hmm.
country. And what I mean by that is we're already not taking in enough revenue to support the services that we do. And now we just said, won't even need what we got already. And instead of, because everybody's like that, everybody's like, I don't want my taxes to go up. That starts from the low man to the high man or woman, either one. That starts, or her, he, or whatever. That starts from the bottom to the top. Nobody wants their taxes to go up. However, the services and the quality of government that we all demand, want, and need, we have to raise what we're doing with our tax base.
Right.
It's just
100%.
that
I'm
simple.
gonna give
We
you a quick example, and then I want to say something real quick. So I did some more research, right? So we talked about the alligator Alcatraz deal, right? It's gonna cost the taxpayers of Florida $400 million a year to operate that. So where do you think that money gonna come from?
That's come from the federal government.
The federal government and or the
Yeah.
state government, right? It's
Yeah.
gonna be subsidized somewhere or another. State government gonna have to pay something. You know what I mean? So
Well-
your
well-
taxes
The
gonna
reason
go
why
up.
they're not is because if it's an immigration based thing, so which it is DHS. All from Ron DeSantis did was giving the land. That's all he did. So to my knowledge.
So
So
they still
the
have to
federal
build
government
it,
is on the hook.
you know, and
Yeah.
supply it and feed the people that are detained there. So they're going to farm them out. They
No,
already said that.
the state of government paid for that. They ain't do
Yeah.
no land. They ain't do no. It wasn't. They ain't do no land grab. They ain't check to see if it's going to kill the.
The government gave them the land. I mean, the state government gave them the land.
Right. So they ain't
But they're
did
not
no,
just going to house those people there and have them sitting on their ass doing nothing. They're going to
Hell
farm
no.
them out.
100%.
And
that's illegal.
That's what's going to go eventually.
Illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
It's
14th
legal.
Amendment.
It'll be legal
No, it's not.
slavery.
It's absolutely illegal. It's the 14th
Right.
Amendment.
So and I want to just change this.
It's the 14th Amendment. For those who don't know, that abolished slavery, except for when you commit a
Correct. They
crime.
can take your rights away. Yep. And I just want to change it up just real quick because I know we've been talking about some very serious things, but I just want to put out there, just pray for the people that's out there in Texas, right? So they still gonna be out there searching. So if you can donate some, do what you can, pray for the people that's been affected because the whole country's gonna be affected really. Because that was a tragic thing, and I'm not even getting to why it happened or who's at fault right now, because that's here and there. That's going to come out eventually. But the whole thing is like we need to stay focused on like those people that need help. Mexico even came over and helped out. You know what I mean? Without even being asked. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things that we should be talking about too. Is like it just hit me because I was just looking up some stuff. But the whole thing is like, make sure that, you know what I mean, you are out here and you actually understand and paying attention to what's really happening out in this world. A lot of the things can be prevented. A lot of the things we can kind of contribute to ourselves because we're not being out there involved. You know what I mean? Supporting, you know what I mean? And being mentors to people or volunteering and stuff like that. That stuff is impactful. So just praying for the people that's out there in the Texas Hill County area and Kerr County and all those people that's affected out there and other parts of the country that are also being affected. Keep those people in our prayers.
Absolutely.
That's flooding in Chicago and North Carolina.
Yep, Chicago. Yep. So just keep them in mind. So
absolutely.
But
with that being said,
I just want to add.
down.
I just want to add one thing. You know, when you were talking, I think Ronnie was talking about people not voting, but because I've been doing some research and I haven't finished it, but what I've gotten so far is kind of surprising. So Kamala lost. She needed 44 elector votes. She had 226 to Trump's 312. So if she had 44 more elector votes, she would have had the 270 needed to win. Now Michigan has 15 electoral votes. She lost Michigan by 80,103 votes. Pennsylvania has 19 electoral votes. 15 and 19 is 44. She lost Pennsylvania by 120,266 votes. That's how close it was. And Trump's been talking about this mandate, you know, that he got. He didn't have a mandate because more people voted against him than for him. But when people think, you know, my vote doesn't count, that's the difference. And in the 2016 election, the difference between Trump's and Hillary's votes was even smaller than that. So, you know, I hope people realize your vote does matter.
Our two states, man. Our two states is key.
Yeah, 44. Just
swing states.
Swing states. And if you believe that Trump won all of the swing states, then I got some swamp land in Florida to sell you.
Yeah, they were just blue and they turned red. It was a shock to a lot of people. So it
Yeah,
is like,
well,
yeah, you got to just get out there, change people's mind. Because I know the people that's up in there, like, man, ain't no way in hell people won't out there and vote for that dude. And ended up like, oh my God, Michigan, what? Detroit
yeah,
turned what?
Michigan. Yeah,
Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Oh my God.
yeah,
So I know
yeah,
for a fact it ain't gonna happen this time. No,
yeah.
Yeah,
hell
yeah,
no. No,
absolutely,
sir.
Well, let's
But
hope
the whole
not.
thing,
absolutely.
well,
Especially
no,
with Elon being mad at him.
well, that's a screen. That's just some smoke over. That's some bullshit. I don't care what. Listen, Elon Musk is the richest man in the
In the
world.
world, yeah.
What does he have? It doesn't matter it don't matter who's in charge for that guy. It doesn't matter for him. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have he don't really have a freaking real leg, and he just out here stirring the
Well,
pot for real. I
he's
don't care.
got
Mhm.
600
Listen,
satellites. That's what he's got.
that we ain't running off them satellites. We don't even really need them satellites. But the whole point is, like, the thing is, don't freaking get twisted. I shouldn't say that. Forget what he's talking about. That is just some smoke and mirror shit over there that they want you to. That man has nothing. He ain't in there making no laws. He ain't in there doing that. All he's doing is taking people's money, grifting folk. You know what I'm saying? Under the cover of law. When they go all about it and they eventually, hopefully, win the Democratic House back one step at a time, take the money from them, because that's the first thing you need to do is take money from them.
Take the
That's what
money.
Congress is.
Yeah.
So once that's taken care of, you can do whatever it is that you can say all you want, but you ain't getting nothing done, right? But the whole thing is like, don't worry about that. That's smoke and mirrors. We got 100 and some people that's dead, and like a whole bunch of people still missing out there in Texas. You know what I mean? They building a
Yeah.
prison down, what they call it, a concentration camp down in
yeah.
freaking Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
Keep your eye on the
Yep.
prize about this stuff. That's what you need to be focused on. Who
Well,
cares what? So what? If, you know what? So what if
but
the Epstein file comes out? What's going to change?
we can't be distracted though.
What's
So,
going to change? What's going to change if the Epstein if 100 billionaires are on that Epstein file? What's going to change?
Yeah, they're not gonna. Nothing's gonna change.
Mhm.
Exactly. So people, oh my God, we gotta see the Epstein
yeah.
files and blah. I don't give a damn about Epstein. He gone. You know what I'm
Personally, I
saying?
don't either.
That's dead and gone. That shit gonna come out eventually. I promise
I'm not.
you it is.
I'm
But
not
that is
talking
not the
about
time that it needs
Epstein.
to.
We'll see.
I'm talking about when he said he helped Trump win.
Yes. No, I'm with you. But that's all smoke and mirrors, man. That's all smoke and mirrors.
I don't think that's smoke and mirrors.
Listen.
But look, I want everybody that think that Elon help win that election. I'm saying, like, by hacking, cheating, stuff like that. Find me some evidence and let's talk
I've been
about
looking.
Listen.
That's what I and let's talk about it.
He's covered his tracks.
I'm gonna come with y'all on the 100 for real. Just stop being like everything is perfect. Stop being hypocrites. Ain't nobody. What do they teach you when you coming up? If you're not cheating, you're not what?
That's not what I
learned. 100%. Listen. Listen. If you listen, what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
That ain't
This
what my
stuff is
grandmother
way.
taught.
Listen. This is much bigger than people think. You know what I'm saying? It's much bigger than people think. And they always think, oh my God, this happened. Yeah, it probably happened. Of course it did. Come on, man. You know what I mean? On both. Listen,
I'm not going down that road without concrete evidence. Without concrete evidence, I'm not going down that road.
I can hear that, but there is even if there is concrete evidence.
I need concrete evidence.
Even if it is concrete evidence,
and some lawsuits and prove it in court.
Right.
That's just how I feel. That's just, I was intellectually honest about that when it came to Trump in 2020. I'm gonna do the same thing now in 2024.
What if I own the law? What if I own the courts? You gonna hear about it?
That's what we have. So with that being said, we're gonna shut it down. We're gonna shut it down for the night. The Clean Our Palette this week is going to be about my niece who is graduating from Navy boot camp in 2 weeks on the 24th. Because we're about to take a long hiatus. I'm going doing some world traveling. So I wanted to big up her before she gets out of Great Lakes. So congrats. We got a new shipmate coming here soon. We should be probably getting a call. I want to say next week will be the call for her passing.
Awesome.
What is it? Battle
stations.
Battle stations. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, congrats.
Congratulations.
And yeah, so no pod until August 7th will be the next
The day
pod,
after my
y'all.
birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, August 7th will be the next pod because I'm doing some world traveling. My wife said, we need to do it from Europe. That means I got to get up at 3 in the morning to do it.
Bruh,
So,
listen, you should. Hey, you should. Y'all gonna.
You on
gotta,
vacation.
if
You
I'm up
gotta
at 3, I'll
listen.
call
You
y'all.
gotta
How about
do
that?
one, bro. You gotta do a special. You
All
gotta
right.
do a
If
special.
I'm up at
You know what I
3,
mean?
yeah, if I'm up at 3, I'll call. We'll have a pod. We'll
Hey,
figure
you're on
something out.
vacation. Enjoy your vacation.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
well
yeah.
deserved vacation, bro. Well deserved.
Exactly.
Have fun. Be safe.
That being said,
Enjoy.
yes. Yes. With that being said, I
Love
love
you back,
y'all.
bro.
Thanks again
Love
for a
you too,
wonderful
Neff.
pod again. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Peace.